Backrooms Escape Together is a 1 to 6 player indie horror game released on October 18th, 2022. The game was received very well, boasting very positive reviews on Steam. Developed by Triodide Studios, it's based on the Backrooms, which is a liminal space. And for those of you who don't know what a liminal space is, I'm going to try my best to explain it, but it's difficult to put into words, so bear with me. A liminal space is an empty or abandoned place that appears eerie and usually surreal. So basically, it's a place that incites a bad feeling as if something is wrong, but you can't pinpoint exactly what's wrong with it. Well, I guess that wasn't really as difficult to explain as I thought, but I guess it can be difficult to grasp. Anyway, in Backrooms Escape Together, you play as someone in a hazmat suit. We'll just refer to them as the Backrooms Explorer to make it easier. The Backrooms Explorer is at the mercy of the entities that lurk around the different levels of the Backrooms. The game consists of 10 levels that force you to find the exit or do tasks in order to progress to the next level. My friend and I decided to play it together to get the full multiplayer experience because it is called Backrooms Escape Together for a reason. Now that you know the basics, let's get into what Backrooms Escape Together is truly all about. The Backrooms Explorer begins in an elevator descending to level 0, the lobby. It's a large room that looks like an old hallway with a ton of randomly placed walls meant to make it difficult to keep track of where you are, as many different areas can look identical. In some sections there are also giant holes in the floor, fittingly called the pitfalls. The goal of level 0 is to collect VHS tapes and record certain things. Doing so will allow the Backrooms Explorer to go back into the elevator and progress. Seems easy, right? Wrong. The things that you record in this level can either be easy, safe things like the pitfalls, or they can be entities that are out to get you. There are two entities in this level, with the first being Entity 0, the bacteria, which is a large black monster that looks like tangled wires with a squiggly rectangle for a head. Upon seeing the Backrooms Explorer, he chases them throughout the lobby until he catches them, or they hide in a hole in the wall or stand on the pitfalls where he can't reach them. The other entity in this level is Entity 3, Smilers. They're basically just creepy looking faces that may jump scare you if you look at them for too long, resulting in your sanity being drained. Oh yeah, I should probably mention the sanity meter. In most levels, over time, the player's sanity meter will drain, and it will drain faster if you interact with an entity by being chased or looking at them. But there is a way to combat this. Throughout the levels, you can find items that will do different things, with some increasing your stamina and others increasing sanity and decreasing sanity drain to aid in your survival. Unfortunately, for the most part, they are pretty rare to find, and you have to be constantly on the lookout for them. Upon completing the tasks in level 0 and going back to the elevator, the wires snap, sending the Backrooms Explorer plummeting to the first sub-level. Sub-level 0.11, Water Damage, is a very short intermission between level 0 and level 1. Upon falling in the elevator, the Backrooms Explorer comes to with hazy vision and ringing ears in a series of long hallways and large, mostly empty rooms with tape on the floors that point to the exit. In the large rooms, occasionally some mattresses can be found, which could have been used in the lobby to get to water damage without completing the tasks that were given. In the lobby, there are some moldy areas on the ceiling above certain holes on the pitfalls, which, when falling into, allow you to land on some mattresses without being hurt, letting you progress faster without the danger of the entities above. Also, I just want to point out how smart it is to make mold be the sign of entrance to the level water damage, because in rooms that have water damage, there's usually black mold, due to it being a good climate for it to grow in. This just shows how the developers actually put thought into the logistics of areas' designs. Upon reaching the end of the tape, there's an area where furniture is clipping through the floor, and jumping into it leads the Backroom Explorer into the next full level. The Backrooms Explorer is transported to a dark room and, upon turning on their flashlight, is greeted with stairs. At the top is a doorway that leads to what looks like an abandoned parking garage or a warehouse, and randomly scattered throughout are rooms with shelves that have items on them. This level has the most items in it by far. Each room usually has 1 or 2 items, maybe even 3, that can be stored in your inventory, so I would stock up on items in this level so that you don't need to worry about finding many in future levels. The task in this level is to repair 5 backup generators in order to prevent the lights from turning off. When the lights do go out in the habitable zone, it seems like a minor inconvenience at first until you hear the sound of some meat smacking the floor approaching rather quickly. Turning to look will show you Entity 10, Skin Stealers, which look like a human body that's been flayed, exposing their muscles with a cow's skull fused to their face. The only way to ward off these entities is light, and when the lights are on, they don't attack, but when they're off, you have to shine your flashlight at them to get them to run away. That seems easy to manage, but there are 3 of them that are constantly running at you from different directions, making it hard to know where they're going to be. Upon warding off the skin stealers and repairing the 5 backup generators, the lights stay on, allowing the Backrooms Explorer to go to a hallway with a door that leads to the next sub-level. The hub is exactly what it sounds like. It's just a tunnel with a bunch of doors that lead to different levels. However, only 2 work. I know, exciting, right? So let's get right into the next levels. If you chose to go to level 2, then you'll be greeted by a long corridor with some rooms leading to a double door with a valve that must be turned to open it. Going through the corridor, the Backrooms Explorer is greeted by a large open room with a locked door, 3 valves marked as B, C, and G, as well as 3 open hallways also marked as B, C, and G. The task for Pipe Dreams is to go into each of the 3 hallways and turn the valves, revealing a number above the entrance to the hallway. Once all 3 numbers are revealed, you need to put them in their respective valves in the main room, which will open the locked door. As per usual, completing this task is hindered by yet another entity. This is Entity 64, the Scratcher. It's a very lanky, lean, and muscular black creature with spikes on its body, along with long, sharp fingers and a tiny tick-like head with no eyes. It follows the Backroom Explorer based on sound, so they're forced to stay quiet while moving around by crouching or hiding in the rooms and lockers around the area. After turning the hallway's valves and putting them in the correct order in the main room's valves, the exit door opens. Going through the hallway allows the Backrooms Explorer to get to an elevator that leads to the next level, but before we talk about that, let's talk about level 3. If you choose to go to level 3, then the Backrooms Explorer will be greeted with a corridor containing shelves with some items on them. Going into the next room reveals a generator that needs gas to access and light up the different floors of the building, leading directly to the task for the electrical station, which is to gain access to each floor and restore power to the catwalk leading out of the generator room. You can cross the first one off easily by putting gas in the generator and flipping some levers, which powers the corresponding floors, allowing them to have their doors open and their lights on. There are 3 floors and 3 levers, but the 3rd lever's cord's cut, so you'll need to find another cord and tape to repair it, with the easiest and sometimes only way being to find a pair of bolt cutters hidden somewhere in one of the 3 floors. And if you thought they'd give you a break when it comes to powering the catwalk, you'd be sorely mistaken. First, you need to find a bunch of tape and cords to repair the shredded cords connected to the catwalk's control module, which can be found on the 1st and 2nd floors respectively. Then you need to find an insane 10 fuses, which are integral for your survival when traversing the floors of the building as they close doors, which in turn slows down the entity chasing the Backrooms Explorer. Oh yeah, and when all this stuff you've already got to collect sounds like a daunting task, you also have to deal with another entity. The entity on this floor is Entity 5, Clumps. I have no idea who thought of making an entity that's just human arms, but they absolutely nailed it. Clumps looks scary, especially if it's your first time seeing him and you don't know what to expect. Although a simple design in theory, Triodide Studios absolutely cooked with their version of Clumps. All the arms reaching out with different emotions like some are in agony and others want to grab the player is such a nice touch. It makes it feel like there's a bunch of different people's arms that are forced to come together and create this one entity. And it's got a giant gaping mouth with fingers for teeth. Yeah, I think it's safe to say I really enjoy this entity. Anyway, once you successfully avoid Clumps and get all 1 billion required items, you can fix the broken wiring, put the fuses in the catwalk control module, and that results in the catwalk falling down, allowing the Backrooms Explorer to get across. Use the bolt cutters to open the door and access the next floor. Whether choosing to go to level 2 or level 3, both come out right here at level 4. The Abandoned Office. This is the most boring level in the game. It is just a really large, empty building with the occasional table or room with cubicles. The American Dream. The task is to find 4 different colored monitor screens with numbers on them. After finding the numbers, you put them into a door locked by a password, which unlocks it and allows you to turn the power off. Yeah, level 4 really is that simple. There aren't even entities. I wonder if maybe the developers of this level were just trying to make a jab at how boring an office job must be, and that you'll spend what seems to be an eternity there, even though it's so draining and boring because that's what's expected of you. Never even allowing you to go anywhere new in life besides seeing the same white and gray walls, wasting your life away in a cubicle working for a business that hardly knows you exist. So much so that when you're the only one there, nothing changes, and it's always destined to be that pit of boredom and nothingness that you remember. But what do I know? I just like to play video games in my free time. But you can make this level way more fun if you only find 2 or less of the numbers and try to guess the other one's order and numbers. Try this one on for size. 8693. 3698. I'm dyslexic, I read it wrong. No matter which way you choose to get through this tedious level, once you turn the power off, the Backrooms Explorer blacks out and is sent to the next level. I promise I did not forget how to count. For some reason, Triodide Studios chose to start bouncing around the levels rather than going through them in order, but it is reasonable because they wanted to include some of the more interesting levels and well-known ones from the Backrooms as well. Level 6, Lights Out, starts with a screen of a code being displayed before showing ASCII art of the word LiDAR and prompting you to type Y or N to confirm you understand the controls, which are explained right above the prompt. Personally, I had absolutely no clue what LiDAR was before playing this game because, well, I'd never heard of it, so if you also don't know what it means, don't worry, I'll explain it. First off, what is LiDAR? LiDAR stands for light detecting and ranging, and how it works is a laser scanner will emit pulses of light. The reflected light returns back to the scanner with the time it takes for the light to return being used to calculate how far away from the surface of the object it is. All the mini points are then used to create what is essentially a map. Yeah, I bet you did not click this video expecting a science lesson. Anyway, upon pressing Y, the Backrooms Explorer finds himself in a black room, looking through a LiDAR sensor. Right-clicking illuminates a small part of the map, but left-clicking shows a much larger amount. Using these, you'll have to navigate throughout the area, following wires to push their respective buttons while avoiding red square-shaped holes in order to open the giant locked red door to get to the next room. In that room, you also have to follow wires, except this time it's to press buttons in order to reveal entities trapped in cages near locked doors. In the puzzle, the 3 entities are now one solid color, and you have to match one of them to their correctly colored door. Doing so will allow you to fall into the hole at the end of the correct corridor safely, leading to the next part of the level, which is a large maze of walls and holes. This part's relatively easy, just use your LiDAR enough to see where you're going and you'll breeze through it. At the end of the maze is a hallway that leads to the exit doorway. But, just like almost every other level, there is a caveat. In the top left corner, there's a memory meter, and there's also a limited amount of memory, with the cap being 16 kilobytes. So when you go over it, it will delete the earlier scans you've done. In the same corner, there's also a CPU meter, and it shows a percentage that gets higher the closer the Backrooms Explorer gets to the entity. Yeah, there's an entity for this level as well. Well, technically he's not documented as an entity, but rather a programming glitch in the LiDAR. Entity ? The Stalker will be alerted each time you use the LiDAR scanner and will get closer to you until he jump scares you and shuts down your system. He doesn't hurt the Backrooms Explorer, he just hinders their exploration of level 6. So he's not terrible, just kind of annoying at times. But avoiding the Stalker and the abundant holes in level 6 will lead the Backrooms Explorer to the exit through the doorway at the end, which leads right into the next level. Level 37, Sublimity, is based off of one of the more well-known liminal spaces and is also commonly referred to as the pool rooms. As much as I think this level looks stunning graphically, it's just another walking simulator. Except for the fact that this time, there is absolutely nothing interesting about it. There's nothing to find, nor to do besides walk and look for the exit. That is the task, to find the exit. Every single room looks almost the exact same, so from a gameplay perspective, it is the most boring and tedious level in this game. I know that I said level 4 is the most boring level, but I take it back, and I give that horrible title to this level. Level 37 is the most sluggish, boring, nothing burger of a level in any game I have ever played. I guess from a horror perspective, if I were to be trapped in this maze where everything looked the same, I would be terrified, and I would lose hope as I struggled to find the exit over and over. But this is a video game, so I have a much harder time feeling that when I'm sitting at my desk 2 feet away from my monitor. And it definitely isn't helped by the fact that this level doesn't have an entity either. I think Triodide Studios just wanted to make the scariest thing about the walking simulator levels the fact that you're actually subjecting yourself to the torment of completing them. If I were to play this game by myself, I would have not had the strength to finish this level. Thankfully, though, I was not playing alone, so I could have a great intellectual conversation while exploring.
Still water.
What, those who know? Once wading through the waist-high water and finding your way out of the main area of the pool rooms, the backroom explorer finds himself at a flight of stairs, which, upon going up, reveals a button. Pressing the button opens a room where you're faced with a very difficult challenge. You have to count the number of each colored painted area. Yeah, they really test your IQ with this challenge. I mean, I just recently learned there were numbers bigger than 10, and now they want me to count multiple things. How am I going to keep up? This is definitely the lamest level in this game, but suffering through it lets the backroom explorer get to the next level. Level exclamation point run is, in my opinion, one of the most fun levels in this game, which really offsets the balance considering we just came from the most boring level I've ever played in any game ever. The Backrooms Explorer starts in a corridor that's illuminated with red lights and a siren's going off, along with an exit sign on the ground with an arrow pointing to it. This creates a sense of urgency, like you must start running immediately, which is exactly what you'll do. The arrow pointing to the exit sign was hinting at the fact that the player will need to look for and follow the exit signs in the corridors as they're running through them. Doing so will lead the Backrooms Explorer to a doorway that, going through, needs to be locked to keep the entity chasing you at bay. The entity in this level is the same one as level 2, Entity 64, the Scratcher, and he looks the exact same, but this time he knows your location without you making any sound and is constantly chasing you unless behind a locked door. The doors don't stay locked forever though. There is an invisible timer before the Scratcher breaks through and chases after you again. This wouldn't be a problem, but in the room after locking the door is yet another locked door that you must find a blue key card to unlock and continue to the next corridor chase sequence. Once finding the key card and unlocking the door, the Scratcher immediately breaks through the door he was behind and starts chasing you again, except each time he gets a little faster, making it more and more difficult in each passing corridor. There are a total of 3 corridors, so rinse and repeat a few times and the Backrooms Explorer bursts through the exit door and is on to the next and final level. Level fun is unique in a number of ways. For one, it isn't just a single level. There are 3 sub-levels, with the combination of them being known as the playrooms. While you may start in a bouncy house, upon leaving it, you will see that there's furniture glitching through the ground in multiple areas, and entering any of them leads to the same sub-level. The first sub-level is a parkour level in a McDonald's or Chuck E. Cheese play place looking area. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just jump from one platform to the next until you reach the end and go into the hole. There aren't any entities or tricks. The only thing needed for this sub-level is just pure skill, and that'll lead to the next sub-level. This sub-level is a colorful maze with a ton of doors and tables, but most of the doors are locked and require the coins found on the tables to open. The goal of this sub-level is to find the door with the arrows pointing at it and enter the glitchy floor inside the room. But there is an entity here. The last and maybe best designed entity is Entity 67, the party goer. Typically, when it comes to liminal spaces, there are multiple party goers. However, in this game, there's only one at a time, and he's rocking a slick new design. It's got a malnourished, super thin and wrinkly body, its feet look like hooves, and its face has a sharp smile that looks like it was cut into it. But the part I like the most is the hands. Rather than make a normal hand because fingers are way too comforting and normal, it instead sports some mouths full of sharp teeth in its palms and 3 fingers around them. This design is just so good I felt the need to gush for a moment about how much they absolutely nailed it with this entity. The way this entity works is if the lights are off, it will immediately become privy to the Backroom Explorer's location and hunt them down until he catches them. Unless the lights turn back on, then they're safe. You also can't get too close and or look at the partygoer for too long, as doing so will result in him becoming aggressive and attacking the player. After finding the correct door for the room without getting caught by the partygoer, the Backrooms Explorer is sent to the next and final sub-level. The Backrooms Explorer falls into another play place looking area with a traffic light in front of them, indicating that this sublevel is going to be a game of red light, green light. It has the same rules as any other red light, green light game, just go when the light's green and stop when it's red. However, each time you fail to stop before the exit, you'll hear a buzzer noise, but nothing happens right then. Making your way to the end of the level and into the hole takes you back to the main room, and the tickets you collected begin to count up on the counter above a locked door. But you may realize you didn't get the 999 ticket jackpot that was shown, and that's due to the fact that every time you mess up in red light, green light, you lose tickets, forcing you to play through the sublevels more. Rinse and repeat the 3 sublevels until you reach the necessary 1500 tickets to unlock the door, and the Backrooms Explorer goes to the next room with a giant red slide, which is the end of the game, leading back to the hub. My main issue with this ending is that it just feels incomplete. Even the ending title card hints at more. It's just sad, especially after seeing how well they did with the vast majority of it. Hopefully in the future this game gets some more updates and levels, as this game was overall a really fun experience, and I would recommend any of you to try it out if you haven't already. Anyway, roll the credits. Well, there actually aren't any, so I guess I'll just yap without white text on a black background behind me. Hey, it's been a little while, been over a month since I've uploaded, but you know, life happens, I guess. I'm currently in college as well as having a job, so I don't get much free time, and when I do, I unfortunately do not want to sit down and work on a video all the time. So, I think I'm gonna continue doing this just to see how it goes, but I don't know that I'm going to do it as much as I probably should. There will definitely be more uploads. I just don't know how steady of like a schedule I'm gonna have. But yeah, overall, I yet again enjoyed working on this video when I actually got down and did it. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna see you all in the next one.